Requirement 11.4.1 establishes a penetration testing methodology that must be documented, and this methodology is really what it means to conduct a penetration test of your environment. So what this is not just some document that your penetration testing company gave you. Here's our methodology document, and we're going to conduct some port scans, followed by some vulnerability scans, and then we're going to poke some holes at stuff. That's not the methodology document that we're talking about here. It may incorporate some of that, but that is not the document here that is being called out in requirement 11.4.1. The penetration testing methodology document needs to identify the industry accepted penetration testing approaches that you will use, that you expect your penetration testers to use even. So that might reference SANS GPEN, or that might reference the OSSTMM. I think there's a NIST standard in there somewhere that could be referenced here. But it will identify the methodology, the approaches that you are expecting your penetration tester to use. The methodology document also needs to identify that it establishes coverage for the entire cardholder data environment, including both the perimeter as well as internal critical system components as well. The testing needs to be conducted from both inside and outside the network. Now, in the applicability notes on this particular requirement, the Council clarified what do they mean by both inside and outside. Inside means that it is conducted from both inside the CDE, the cardholder data environment, the trusted zone, as well as from both trusted and untrusted network segments outside of the CDE. And then outside penetration testing implies as visible from the internet, as visible from external interfaces, external networks that have nothing to do with your environment. So your penetration testing methodology should define what do you expect for both inside and outside penetration testing. It also needs to validate any segmentation and scope reduction controls. So if you're using network firewalls and jump boxes, for instance, then the penetration test should speak directly to how the penetration tester validated that segmentation and scope reduction technologies are effective at controlling scope. There's also a requirement to establish both application and network penetration testing. So if you're running an e-commerce web-based portal, for instance, then the penetration test needs to address that. Or maybe you've got a payment API that, and your payment capabilities are implemented through a homegrown API, then the penetration test needs to test that API specifically. And it also needs to address any of the infrastructure components, the network infrastructure, routers, switches, firewalls, servers, web servers, database servers, etc., that constitute your application. Now, there are a handful of other requirements that we aren't going to sub-bullet points on this requirement that we are not going to go into in detail here, but they're mostly administrivia. So be sure to take a look. I think there's a total of 9 bullet points that you'll want to make sure are addressed that your QSA will be looking for in your penetration testing methodology.